Messi.
Lionel Messi. Messi's hit! Oh! That's what they came for! The Magic Man!
Julian Alvarez.
It's Alvarez! It's 1-0 for Argentina.
Enzo.
Wonderful goal! Enzo Fernandez with a peach!
McAllister.
And in! Alexis McAllister! Argentina strike in the opening seconds.
Rodrigo de Paul.
Finally the goal for Argentina. It's Rodrigo de Paul.
Dibu Martinez. Lautaro Martinez. The Argentina national team is stacked with talent. It's no surprise that they have won so many trophies in such a short span of time. In every position, there is a warrior that is willing to do whatever it takes to win. And all of these beasts are led by a world-class manager in Scaloni, a man who revolutionized the national team. What makes this team so good, and what's Scaloni's secret game plan that has allowed Argentina to still be amazing even when Messi isn't there? It was all smiles again for the Argentina national team as they lifted another piece of silverware, the 2024 Copa America. For the fourth time in a row, Messi and his teammates had reached the summit of a major tournament, a run that's been unmatched in the country's history. Back-to-back Copa Americas with a casual World Cup in between. That's better than sex. It's crazy how much both Messi and Argentina's international legacy transformed in the past few years. Before, they were known as a team that constantly crumbled in finals, chokers, bottlers, the arsenal of national teams. Okay, maybe not the last one. You got the 2014 World Cup, back-to-back Copa America heartbreaks in 2015 and 2016, and then of course the exit at the 2018 World Cup, a moment that many felt was Messi's last opportunity for international glory. Well, now he has as many major trophies as he had finals losses. What a beast. Now, while Messi has received some very well-deserved credit, I mean, the guy is the greatest of all time, and put together one of the greatest World Cup campaigns I've ever seen. Anyone that tries to belittle his performance to just penalties doesn't understand a thing about football, or they were watching the tournament with a blindfold. But like I said, while Messi deserves a lot of credit, Scaloni also deserves a lot of love. People underestimate just how important it is to have a good manager. Talent alone cannot win you anything, and we've seen that in the past for Argentina. You see, in previous years, there was never a lack of talent with the national team. For example, let's go back to 2010. Bafana, South Africa, the World Cup. This team had Higuain, who despite all the memes and stuff, was a great number 9, at least at club level. I don't know, sometimes for the national team, this guy can't hit a barn door. They also had Tevez, who was destroying teams in the Premier League, a young Angel Di Maria, Demichelis, Otamendi. Not the best team in the World Cup, especially since the defenders and midfielders were not as high quality as the attackers, but certainly not a bad team. But the problem was the manager, Diego Armando Maradona. A great example that not all fantastic players can be fantastic managers. One of the greatest players to ever play the sport, but man, this guy had no idea how to run a team. The only reason Argentina even made it to the quarterfinals was because of individual talent, as seen by the fact that when they finally ran into a proper team, they lost 4-0. Anyways, he got sacked and replaced by Sergio Batista for the 2011 Copa America. But Batista wasn't that great either. Argentina started the tournament tying Bolivia, no offense to Bolivia, but come on, then drawing 0-0 with Colombia. Then they ended up losing in the quarters to Uruguay, and after, Batista was sacked. The next tournaments were better. Sabella came in and he was much better than all the managers before him. The team was more solid defensively, and Argentina made it all the way to the finals of the 2014 World Cup. However, the next two eras of Martino and Sampaoli were reminders that talent alone cannot win you games. That's why I still give a lot of credit to Sabella, because other managers have shown that just because you have Messi doesn't mean that you're guaranteed a trophy. He will get you close, don't get it twisted, but in order to get to the finish line, you need good teammates and a good manager. Messi needed a little bit more help in the 2014 World Cup final, and unfortunately he didn't get it. I have a strong feeling that if Di Maria was allowed to play in that game, he would have cooked. But of course, as we have all seen, Real Madrid basically didn't let him play. So you need a good team and a good manager around Lionel Messi. And that brings us to this current side. Scaloni came at a time where Argentina was honestly lost. After another disappointing World Cup run, the national team and the coach Jorge Sampaoli agreed to part ways. Sampaoli had promised a lot, but the team looked confused and broken. In fact, for many, they felt like it was a passing of of the torch moment, that Messi's time was done and that Mbappe was the future. Another narrative that was put to bed after the 2022 World Cup, but I'll get there. Argentina needed a fresh start. Now, Scaloni was a man that few expected to lead the national team. He had been one of Sampaoli's assistants, but he had zero experience coaching a senior team. Most of the sports media in Argentina laughed at the decision, but they were wrong. His 4-4-2 style worked very well, and he made sure to put athletic, hardworking players around Messi. That way, Messi could do his thing and could conserve his energy defensively. He still presses, but it's a lot easier for Messi to press when there's Rodrigo de Paul around him, McAllister, Molina. What ended up happening was that Argentina became solid defensively and very tough to break down, as evident by their 1-0 victory against Brazil at the Maracanã in Copa America. I mean, people have to understand how ridiculous that is. Argentina went to Brazil's own backyard and beat them in a final to lift a major trophy. To this day, I still think that final was the toughest one, because before then, Argentina hadn't won anything in 28 years. All of the demons around Messi and the whole national team were on their shoulders. The pressure and expectations had never been higher. Then you had Neymar turning into an absolute beast. So winning that final was essential. It really was the spark that started the cycle of Argentina just destroying everyone. Because if they don't win that final, who knows what would have happened. Messi might have retired. Scaloni, despite taking him to the final, could have been fired. But instead, they ended up beating their biggest rivals in their home stadium. It was emotional, historic, and the whole country celebrated like never before. It was an incredible run, and thank God for Angel Di Maria, because Messi was not good in the final, so it was nice that his teammates actually helped him for once. A chip that was very similar to the goal that he scored against Brazil in the Olympics. Angel Di Maria, the angel that helped the national team. Like I said, this wasn't just Messi's win, it was also Scaloni's masterpiece. The team looked more united than ever before. Night and day difference between the team that we saw in the 2018 World Cup and the team that we saw 2 years later at the Copa. In 2022, while Argentina kept rolling, they beat the European champions Italy 3-0 in the Finalissima, another trophy for Scaloni and the crew. Then came the World Cup in Qatar. Now, Argentina actually lost their first match to Saudi Arabia of all teams, and the doubters returned. But nobody on the team panicked. Not Scaloni, not Messi, not the rest of the players. There was a trust in the system, and Scaloni showed his adaptability, made some smart changes, and the team responded. They beat Mexico and Poland, then powered through the knockout round. Past Australia, past the Dirty Dutch. Yeah, Louis van Gaal can hold that. And then past Croatia with a dominant 3-0 win in the semis. What Scaloni had done was, after that first loss, he decided to put Enzo Fernandez in the starting 11 and play McAllister as the left midfielder. That changed everything. The 4-4-2 worked like a charm. Enzo was now next to Rodrigo de Paul, and they complemented each other so well, because de Paul was the engine, running everywhere, closing down, winning duels, and then Enzo could do his thing, dictate the play from deep, score goals if he has to. There's a reason this guy won the young player of the tournament. And then of course up top, Julian Alvarez was pretty much the perfect number 9 to put next to Messi. The guy doesn't stop running. He's intelligent with his positioning, and when he gets the opportunity, he knows how to be clinical. And then of course came the final against France, which was literally like a Netflix movie, and we all know how that ended. I think that final to this day is still some of the highest level football I've ever seen. Like, that Di Maria goal alone is beautiful team play. It should have been a spanking, but I guess they wanted to make the game close to make it more epic. Or at least that's what I tell myself. Because at one point I genuinely thought Mbappe was going to score 4 or 5 goals and France was going to win the whole thing. And that would have been a terrible look for Messi and the national team. But Scaloni had done what no manager had done since 1986. Bring a World Cup to Argentina. He gave the country joy. And then, as if 2 major trophies weren't enough, Argentina also won the 2024 Copa America. Now this tournament for me was a very important one because it was a glimpse into Argentina's future. Scaloni has set up a system that will continue to work even when the greatest player of all time retires. Because in that Copa America, Messi was not at his best. I mean, he was still good, but by his standards, he wasn't anywhere near what we saw in Qatar. Age seemed to have caught up with him, and in fact he actually came off in the final with an ankle injury. But under Scaloni, this isn't just Messi's team anymore. Everyone has a role to play, and that was proven by Lautaro Martinez coming off the bench and scoring an extra time. And boom, Argentina were champions again. Similar thing happened in the World Cup qualifiers match against Brazil. No Messi, Rafinha talking trash before the match, no problem. Argentina embarrassed them 4-1 with goals coming from everywhere. McAllister scored, Enzo scored, Alvarez, Simeone's son. That's what this team can do now. they can punish you from any area of the pitch. Without Messi, they can press you even harder, because usually Messi walked around scratching his balls when he didn't have the ball. He would only press in certain situations. The team is now also so tactically fluid. They're able to hold possession, but they can also be super direct. When you have strikers like Julian Alvarez, Lautaro Martinez, it's very easy to get him behind. Their mentality is also crazy, competing for every loose ball, battling in every duel, never giving up. That's what makes this team so special. They are both incredibly skillful and aren't afraid of doing the dirty work. I mean, look at this team. In goal, you got the penalty king, the mental games warrior. Dibu Martinez is a wall. He's the guy you want in a shootout, or pretty much any moment in a match, because he's confident, he's fearless. This brother was doing keepy-ups against Brazil. Argentina believes in him, and he believes in himself more than anyone else. Who better to have in goal? It's a huge upgrade considering that in the 2018 World Cup, Willy Caballero couldn't save a Word document. Then the defenders are all beasts. You got Christian Romero, who plays like every duel is a war. He's one of the most physical center backs in the world. He's fast, he's good on the ball. What else can you ask for? Then you have Lisandro Martinez, who when he isn't in that negative environment of Manchester United, actually looks incredible. Despite his height, he's incredibly tough. So you put those two guys next to each other and it's impossible for attackers to score. The wingbacks are good too. You got Tagliafico, who's constantly making overlapping runs on the left, reads the game well, and then you got Molina, who once again is a player who's not afraid of being aggressive. Then you get to the midfielders, the brain of the operation. You got Rodrigo De Paul, who is just an absolute monster. If you hear anybody trying to downplay this guy as just Messi's bodyguard, just know they don't watch football. Not only has this guy been incredible at Atletico, but for the national team, he's everywhere. He presses, he defends, he creates, he bleeds for the national team. I can see why opposition fans don't like him, but you have to respect his talent. Then you got Alexis McAllister. The biggest compliment I can give this guy is that there was times during the World Cup that I legit thought it was Messi. Yes, from the TV broadcast angle, and his beard, and his movements, he looked like Messi. He's so creative, he's able to pop up with a goal, but he's not afraid of putting in a tackle. Then you got Enzo, who I told you guys is an incredible box-to-box player. His chance creation always gets wasted at Chelsea, but not for the national team. And then you have the forwards. Lautaro Martinez has slowly transformed into a killer. There were times before where he would score a lot of goals, but then in the crucial games he would miss. But in the 2024 Copa America, this guy won the Golden Boot, and he was crucial. So I think he's turned a new leaf over there. And then of course you have the Spider. He creates pure chaos. Another player who runs non-stop, another player who presses like crazy. He's one of the best number 9s in the world. He can create for himself, he's not reliant on service, unlike the Norwegian robot he used to play with, and he can play up top or out wide. He's very flexible. Now of course you notice that I didn't talk about Messi, and that's for two reasons. Number one, I think this Argentina team is entering a new era, and the players deserve to get praise and credit individually. They are that good. And number two is because I have a 15-minute documentary on all of Messi's victims, from destroying Kylian Mbappe to the numerous times that he's destroyed Cristiano Ronaldo. You have to check out this video right here.